Hi folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. I gotta clean my AR-9 or my AR-15 SBR. It's been a while since I've cleaned this. I've probably put 500-600 rounds through it and through 5 or 6 different range sessions, and I haven't cleaned it or lubricated it. And if you know, these suppressors make these ARs run extra dirty. And I normally just like clean this a little bit. I don't normally do a real deep cleaning. But you know, they are what they are. Skip at my range, he's the owner. He sold me this stuff. It's Extreme Weapons Grease. And I used it this last time, and I have ran it the whole time and have not had to put a drop of oil in this thing. He sold this to me with my Glock. But it's a synthetic grease that will stay in place to provide continued lubrication to high wear parts. I really like this stuff. It just takes a little tiny bit, and it really keeps things running. You know, I mean, I don't have a problem using just some hoppies or whatever on it too. If it gets, you know, dry and it needs some. I normally carry some CLP or some hoppies in my range bag. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and make sure it's unloaded, drop the bolt, and we'll go ahead and push these pins out. Really, I should have pushed that pin out first, huh? Go ahead and push them out here. My AR-9 often gets little dents and scratches in it as I train and practice with it. I just usually write on it with a little Sharpie marker or something to put some more black back on it. But this bolt doesn't seem extremely greasy. Let me go ahead and put my gloves on, because I do have lead poisoning. So I am supposed to wear gloves when I clean my guns anyway. Usually when I shoot too, but I don't always wear them anymore when I shoot because my lead has really come down. We'll go ahead and put our gloves on if we can get them on. There we go. I think this is my last pair in that box. I have a few more boxes in the filing cabinet down behind me. And that was where my pinky doesn't go where my thumb is. Right there. Okay. Alright. So, this really does not look that dirty. It's really surprising, because I'm running a suppressor with it. So I'm really impressed with this Extreme Weapons Grease. It seems to gather less residue than just using Hoppy's gun oil or whatever will too. So that's good. But yeah, just gotta do a quick cleaning of it. I'll use my bore brush, and I'll use a little ballistol. We'll try to get it down in here. Let's clean that out. But it did have a couple of fails to completely eject the other day when I was shooting it. So I figure it must be time for cleaning. If this will even drop all the way through here. Come on. Man. Hang on, let me get this down here in it. Okay. Come on. There. Okay. is just sticking because I sprayed that Valistol in it. We'll go ahead and give that a pull. That'll clean that up pretty good. And then I was gonna go ahead and scrub it down a little bit with some hoppies. If I can find my hoppies, there's my hoppies. Oh. I'll find my little brush. This is my little AR-15 style brush I bought at the gun show. I usually scrub it down with that. Get in here as good as I can. This isn't a real deep cleaning, this is just sort of a cleaning. But I'll use the small brush to get down here in this little groove. And I'll scrub on the top of the little extractor as good as I can there. Or the tube. Little gas tube. And we'll scrub back here in this. And so there's that. And then let me find it. I have a special kind of brush for cleaning that. Let me see here. I have to find my special brush. There's my special brush right there for cleaning that. And then I have I should have a special wipey thing too. Special mop or whatever. Nobody still have any of those. Here's my bigger can of ballast though. I have another pack of new ones here. You go ahead and open these up. My old one just might have got too dirty and wore out. This one came with a nylon one too, which is pretty cool. Okay. So now we can go ahead and scrub it with this. We'll just have to find our thing. And that's all part of this little thing here. That's the screw on here. And screw it on down on here. But yeah, I don't clean my guns every time I shoot them. It would be way too much cleaning. I'd spend all my time cleaning guns and none of my time actually training and practicing with them. Because I do shoot quite a bit. And we just scrub this real good. And that gets down on that little star pattern thing that the bolt slides into real good. And we'll make sure that's clean. And I might try the nylon brush this time too, just to see what that does. Here's a nylon one. That's probably pretty good for light duty type of cleaning. You know. That goes in further. Okay. Now we'll try the mop. The mop usually fits in here pretty doggone tight. Especially when it's new. I wish they'd make these not fit so tight, but you know, it is what it is. Oh, that gets that pretty clean. So now I'm just gonna kind of wipe down in here as good as I can. A lot of times after I wipe this down, I like to take a shotgun wad thing, shotgun cleaner. I'm gonna find one. Here's one. And I will use, oh, I already have one up here. Okay. So I will use this on the end of my thing. We'll have to unscrew this one. And then this one screws on there. And then we'll just take and clean this out real good. Like so. And get this just as clean as we can. And then I'll take a smaller one. Like this size one. And I'll just use that to go along that little bottom rail in there. Clean it up a little. Just clean that up. And that's pretty good. So now as far as cleaning our bolt, our bolt carrier, I should say. Now I usually a lot of times I won't drop this bolt out, but it's been a while, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop the bolt, and we'll give it a good cleaning. I don't think I'm going to take the bolt apart, but we'll drop it out. So you have to get this little thing right here out, a little pin, and that will let the firing pin drop out. Alright, and then you have to turn this thing. If you can get it out of there. There, and that comes out, and then your bolt comes out. Your bolt a lot of times has really strong carbon deposits here around the back, and this one's getting kind of built up. They make all kinds of special tools to clean that. I've used anything from a pocket knife to a bench grinder with a wire wheel on it to clean that off, honestly. But usually I just take and dip it in some hoppies, like so, and then just scrape it and get most of that off of there. I'll just scrape it with my little Harbor Freight key knife and get most of that carbon off of there, like so, and that usually works just fine for me. But they do make a special tool. Such Double Lot, he just did a video on a really neat tool that I'd love to have, but I don't want to spend the money, and what I do here does work. So I just clean them like that. I'll have to get my brush out again. Oh, it's already out. And then we'll just brush this back of this bolt off real good. I'm dripping. Put a towel down. And we'll just clean all that off. And that carbon builds up faster when you're running a suppressor. It just puts more gas back into the gun, into the action. We'll just clean the rest of it off here. And kind of clean the face of that and make sure it's good and clean. we're all good there. And we'll go ahead and wipe down our firing pin. Make sure that's good and clean. Wipe this down. Wipe this down. Now, carbon does actually build up in the end of your bolt as well. I've never actually scraped that out or done anything with it though. But the special tool Such has a special thing to get down in there. I just normally find a brush that are about fit, like a 45 cal or whatever. Yeah, we need a big brush. Maybe a 410 shotgun brush would do it. I don't know if I have one of those though. I'll just go ahead and brush it down with this a little. We'll brush that out a little bit. That's all I really ever do. I'll find a mop that'll fit down in there. Oh, I'm running out of mops. I'm running out of mops. It was. There we go. And now really we're just ready to wipe the rest of this down. We'll go ahead and just clean off the bolt a little with some hoppies. Make sure it's clean there, and then we'll go ahead and wipe her down. And this is just a cheap Palmetto State Armory, their cheapest bolt carrier group that they sell. I've never bought one of those big expensive fancy bolts. Carrier groups that are all like special and x-rayed and whatever. I just never have a problem. I have never yet broken a bolt as much as I've shot. So I don't know, I guess one day if I break one I might look for a better one. It says C158 MPI, whatever that means. But we can go ahead and put this back in here. To line up that little hole. And then this little piece drops in it. If you can get them lined up there, and then you just turn it 90 degrees like that, and then you just drop your firing pin in. Yep, that feels good. And then we just put our pin back in. We can get it back in. Let me. Wow, that's really weird. I'm trying to. It's got a little bend in it, but it's wide open. So let me get some needle nose pliers or something here and just kind of give it a little twist. There it goes. Alright. I guess my pen's getting a little bent, my little cotter pin thingy. Maybe I should look at straightening that or replacing it or something. I don't know. But that's pretty much all there is to cleaning this. We'll wipe down our charging handle. And we're pretty much ready to go back together. I just want to put some lube on. I'll put a little bit of lube. Let me take the little cap thing off. Maybe this stays on. I can't remember. No. There it goes. Okay. And we'll just put a little lube down in here where you see metal to metal contact. You want a little bit of lubricant. And I don't really see metal to metal contact here, but I'll put a little bit of lube in there as well. And as well as up in here, just to make sure that all slides good. We'll do a little light layer of lube around the rest of this. And then I will do some drops of oil down here in these little holes to help lube up the bolt. And that's pretty much all I do for lubricating it, and it stays pretty good. Got to put our charging handle back in. Has to go in first though. Okay. Then that goes in. And then this goes in. Maybe. Oh, I got to pull this bolt out. And then it'll go in. And then that all goes in there. I mean, that's pretty much all the lubrication that I do. I may put just a little bit down in here. Just a light smidget of lube. And that's pretty much it. Oh, this is a Toolcraft bolt. This isn't even a Palmetto State Armory. Toolcraft. It must have been cheaper. I probably bought it because it was a little cheaper. But that's how I do that. The lower, I don't really worry about cleaning the lower that often. It has a little bit of dirt on the hammer and stuff. We can go ahead and just scrub the top of it down a little bit, I guess. But the lower really doesn't need cleaned that often. And so I'll wipe that down. Once in a great while, I do take my lower completely apart and clean the whole trigger group and everything. But not that often. So we still have some darn lube that stayed on the side of this hammer. Has a little groove in it there. We'll try to wipe that out as good as we can. I mean, that's pretty much it. My buffer tube, I don't normally clean that off, but I'll go ahead and take it out this time and we'll see. It's actually wet with a little bit of lube on it too, but we'll go ahead and wipe it down. So my buffer's really well used there. It's getting the wear marks. I believe this buffer did come from Palmetto State Armory. It was their cheapest one. And we'll just wipe the spring down. And we could go ahead and clean out that buffer tube a little, I guess. We'll just use this one. And we'll just stick a mop down there and make sure there's no, you know, massive pieces of grit or anything. But there usually isn't. There we go. And then I will take normally and just spray a little ballast all on my spring. Let me use my big can. Oh, ballast all malfunction. Alright. And then put this in there like so. And I will go ahead and just put a little bit of my gun grease around here and on the face of this where the metal kind of rubs. Alright, put that in. Stick this back. There it is. Now that's in there. That's pretty much all we need to do. You know, she's pretty much cleaned up and ready to go shoot another 600-700 rounds at least. Well, if I can get the pen to go back in her. Oh, come on, you just about started. You silly thing. There it goes. We'll close that. Push this one down. And we're pretty much ready. I'll just wipe her down. Just wipe her off real good. Make her look nice and pretty. As you can see, I have some wear on some parts and stuff. It's all normal. I mean, when you shoot a gun a lot, you get your money's worth out of it and it wears down. This is a Palmetto State Armory lower. It's been pretty good. I haven't had any problems with it. Alright, there she is. She's all ready to take back out and shoot now. As far as my suppressor, sometimes I do fill this up with solvent and flush it out, you know, give it a good shaking around. It's not the type of suppressor that will come apart for cleaning. Although this little end piece here does come off, right? But normally all I do for it is just wipe it down a little. And it'll smoke the next time you shoot it because it'll have a little leftover grease on it, but it'll be alright. And I just wipe down the outside of it and it seems to always work fine. I've shot the heck out of this little suppressor too. It's really held up. So the lesson to be learned here is you do not have to spend all kinds of money to have a good, reliable little gun, right? I mean, this is an SBR, so I spent the $200 on the tax stamp, and it has a suppressor that I think this is around $500 or $600, and I paid a $200 tax stamp for that. But you know, you can build just a standard 16-inch AR, a cheap one, out of some of the cheaper parts, and it will function and work most likely just perfectly fine. And it's going to be able to shoot better than you can. You know, I'm not a professional shooter. I'm not a sniper or anything like that. I'm just a dude that likes to go out and punch holes in paper at the range. And I like having a rifle that I could use in an emergency for self-defense or whatever as well. Or if my country is attacked, or I get called to war, or you know, somebody tries to take over the federal government and we have to go to defend them, something like that. I like to have a gun and be able to shoot it. But mostly it's just for fun. And I enjoy it. I enjoy reloading the ammo almost as much as I like shooting the guns. You know, I was shooting my reloads. These are soft points. I have some full metal jackets, and some of these are soft points. They were out of soft points one time, so I had to buy 500 of the full metal jacket ones. But I really like the soft points better. That's what I normally get. They're 55 grain soft point. I reload these in 223, 556 cases mixed up, right? The 556 cases, you a lot of times have to ream the primer pocket so that your primer can fit in there, but I just go through and ream them all when I reload them. I don't even check to see if they had a crimped in primer or not. You have to trim them, right? And that 556 is supposedly a little thicker of a metal case, so you're supposed to just a little less powder in it because it can increase the pressure. I don't know. I do 22.3 grains of accurate 2230, and that seems like the perfect load to me for just a plinking round and going out and shooting. If I was trying to reload something really accurate, then yeah, I would use a powder trickler and all kinds of stuff to make them exact, but these are perfectly good enough rounds, and they hit better than I can, right? I mean, they're more accurate than I am, so that's what I use. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. I just wanted to jump in and do a little video of me cleaning my AR-15 SBR. I do love that gun. I shoot it quite a bit, and I go through quite a bit of ammo. Now, in that last shooting video, I did not have my brass catcher with me, but normally I catch my brass so I can pick it up and reload it for two reasons. One, my range has a no brass pickup policy. Once it hits the floor, it has to stay on the floor unless you sweep it up and put it in their bucket. That's okay. So I usually run this, but also my AR typically shoots the brass forward of the firing line. It lands out forward, so I can't go out there and get it even if I was going to pick it up. So I just use this, but I forgot to take it with me the last time, and that's okay. I have plenty of brass, you know. I can lose a few, right? But the brass comes out extra dirty when you're using a suppressor as well. But I usually get those and then check them, trim them, you know, just go through and reload them again. And you just have to look when you resize them to make sure that there's no cracks or anything here, and get rid of the brass if it is. It's probably been reloaded too many times. Like, you'll find brass at other ranges, like outdoor ranges, where you are allowed to pick it up, but it's been walked on and crushed and stuff, and you can't. I only take perfect brass and reuse it, you know. if it's got dents in it and stuff, I just don't mess with it. I throw that away. But yeah, I bought two big like 10-gallon Ziploc bags full of 556 brass off of a guy on Auction Arms. It was like, he only wanted like $25 for it, plus some shipping. So I was like, yeah, I'll take that. But typically when I go to a carabine training class that's outdoors, they want everybody to go pick up the brass afterwards, right? Clean up the range where we were training. And I just like take a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket with me, like, hey, throw it in here, throw all that brass right in here. You know, I'll take it home and reload it, thank you. You know, and yeah, I'll get several thousand cases from that. So and you know, loading a rifle round is more expensive because of the powder, right? A 9mm using like 4 or 5 grains of powder. On these, I'm using 22.3. But a pound of powder costs the same, whether it's for a handgun or a rifle. They cost about the same. So they are going to cost you more in powder to reload these. They use the small rifle primers. I normally use the small rifle Magnum primers. I just like them because they're harder and they work good in an AR, but you don't have to use Magnum primers in this. And they load up and they work just fine. It is a lot cheaper than buying them. It's a lot cheaper. Now you're talking about a 9mm. It's not that much cheaper to reload it. I reload those because I have a perfect load for my gun. But 223 5.56, you'll save yourself quite a bit of money if you shoot a lot. And you'll spend that money on other stuff, and you'll shoot more. So really, you spend the same amount of money. You're just able to do a lot more training and practice and plinking and fun for that amount of money. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.